afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Hero Site, Defender of the Fatherland. Off here to an exciting 1 vs 1 on the Road to Kharkov. Between the north, you got Redxwings fighting here for the Soviet Union, Socialism, the 38th Tank Corps, with Reserve Army and Partisan Tactics, Grenade, Partisan Bulletins, and Molotov Bulletins. Versus in the south, you got the Dzanusz fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, taking on the role here of the 1st Panzer Division with Jaeger Infantry, Assault Support, and German Mechanized with triple Stug Bulletins, giving increased penetration, increased mobility, and increased build speed and veterancy gain. We got double concept out there for Redxwings. We got Grenadier MD42 here for the Dzanusz as he lays down the mighty sandbags of Germany around the Kharkov point. Yar lifts his bags hard as they're filled with good German soil. Isn't this just dirt from here? Shut up, Ludwig. You're ruining our propaganda efforts again. Grenadiers taking northwards, constantly moving towards the centre. They're heading for the fuel as well. Redxwings moves forwards for Stalin and socialism, ready to overcome the fearsome foe that is fascism. MD42 pioneers going to the north. Grenadiers heading more northwards. It seems like splits up. I'm not entirely sure what's happening there. Second Grenadier squad for Redxwings might be just wants to get more territory. He's planning something after the conscripts here. Course base for off command, could the supporting company, Maximus mortars and all that. We shall see what Redxwings ends up with there. Meanwhile, though, the conscript squad there edges ahead towards the Kharkov one there, forcing the Dzanusz to have to revise all of his plans as Redxwings strikes like lightning from a clear sky. Red lightning. Grenadiers bringing this, so second squad they can't be caught here, but then before too quickly suppressed, but nonetheless the damage has been done. The Kharkov point has been cut off. Grenadiers charging forward against the suppressed conscript, but then another conscript going to try and flank the MD42 here, and there go up close, pinned down to the ground, MD42 repositioning, possibly anticipating such an assault from Redxwings, and there you go. The Dzanusz saw through Redxwings' second ploy, not the first one, but he saw through the second one. He saw through the second one there. And there go conscripts hold here by the might of the MD42, 1200 rounds per minute, proving to be a quite suitable antidote to socialism. Pioneers closing in the suppressed conscripts. The conscripts desperately trying to get unsuppressed. Can they manage in time here? Oh, he's going to just deny the house to them. Looks like he is, and then you use the Grenadiers, perhaps pressure the conscripts, support them, company out for Redxwings for the maximum on the way. This double conscripts into doubling Grenadiers, and then maxims for Redxwings. And Grenadiers up north here versus Grenadiers. We got 3 Grenadier squads there for the Dzanusz and the 1st Panzer Division. Grenadiers pushing forward, sandbags going down there by the Kharkov point. Mortar fire in the house here, down here got nothing further going on there for the Dzanusz. Sandbags down there, the Dzanusz could consider some mines here and there, some telemines early on, could perhaps for later on, or just some S-mounts could do a lot there to frustrate Redxwings. But it's gone here for partisan tactics. We are seeing partisan tactics, ladies and gentlemen. A rather popular doctrine for quite a time. It seems to have fallen out of favour for some different regions, though it's pretty good. This is the Wehrmacht. It is pretty good. Perhaps even too good. Either way, though, Redxwings they're choosing the might of the partisans here to support the 38th Tank Corps. Grenadiers suppressed there. Fun fact. Partisan groups were many and not necessarily united in their fights against the Germans. Hell, some of them were pretty much against the Soviets, and the different partisan groups would also fight against each other. Bit of pushback here. Grenadiers push back on the Maxim. So those are some fun facts just on partisans. Furthermore, a lot of the Soviet partisans were in fact in many cases Soviet troops left behind during Operation Barbarossa, some other failed operation, and usually sort of that way just kept fighting. In fact, a lot of them would turn out to be Soviet paratroopers from large-scale Soviet paratroop operations which failed. A lot of them kind of failed their large-scale operations. So those are some fun facts there about partisans. More of them. There's conscripts pushing up here against trying to outmaneuver here the Dzanusz's position, but he's quickly occupying the houses here in a strong position-ish, but there you go, Molotovs here from Redxwings very much undermines the safety of these houses. In the centre, Grenadiers keeping them just occupied. We've got the Maxim out here. Redxwings seems to be flooding a bit of resources there, and he also lost at least 1 engineer squad there to the Dzanusz. So the Dzanusz so far is actually doing pretty well here versus Redxwings. Stout German infantry overcoming weak Soviet flesh. And we got the 1st Partisan squad out here. Pinker Hunter Grenadiers, the PPH-41 singing out a dirge of death. and socialism. Doesn't quite get a wipe there, but nonetheless pushes back the Grenadiers. So we've got another Grenadier squad providing covering fire for the retreating man. And as all of this is happening, Dzanusz pushes for the cutoff point. We can actually consider laying down an S-mine field here on the cutoff point. That could be quite nasty there. Take up down there for Dzanusz and the 1st Panzer Division. Grenadiers hanging back here. Partisans pretending they're hiding. You could also use them to lay down mines. There's, for example, an ability all partisans in the game have, but generally most people tend not to use that particular ability. Bunker up there for Dzanusz. Back here, constant engineers Maxim setting out as the Redxwings prepares for another push against the scourge that is the German army. Pioneers continue their raiding trip northwards. No S-mines here. Flooding bit of munitions. You could also consider machine gun bunkers. For example, a machine gun bunker to occupy the centre here would make it harder for Redxwings to move through that. Would also be not something the partisans can deal with. They have grenades, not satchel charges. There you go, Grenadiers sort of about there. Hey, Otto, there's the partisans about here. Ah, don't you believe that? Oh, scheiße, I was wrong. Ah, would you look at that? Oh, they got Ludwig, Jürgen, and Otto. So there you go, nice partner strike there from Redxwings, making good use of them, and wiping one of the Dzanusz Grenadier squads. We actually gone there for 4 infantry of them. So pretty heavy build, which could indicate a tier 3 rush here from Dzanusz versus Redxwings. Of course, that rather intermission is thanks to the partisans, who are close to veterans to 1. Pioneers almost got the fuel point here. Victory promptly secured by the Red Army and its partisan allies. Pioneers are forced to retreat. Back here, just 2 chunk of men running back, and we got into tank grenades, although anticipating Dzanusz not to go for tier 3 rush, but go for like to make a nice company and something from there. In fact, he's going for Grenadiers. I mean, in theory, he could have gone for assault support, called in an officer instead, boosted other Grenadiers, you know, set up for long-term play with a cargo truck, strafing runs and like. But he actually goes for Jaeger infantry. Jaeger infantry. That one's actually getting a lot more popular thanks to the balanced preview. And I think it's largely just down to people wanting to get ready sort of mentally to use it for when the patch hits. So, you know, they're just more ready to just, you know, get down to it. So G43's going out there for the Grenadiers. At least some of them. Down here, medic bunker ready for Dzanusz. If he wants to tech rush, he should definitely get that support equipped as soon as possible. I mean, he's got the resource to actually tech and then build. But so far, nothing there from Dzanusz. You could also consider, you know, we go ambush camouflage and then shift his machine gun position a bit about there, making it much harder for Redxwings to stand ways and dealing with it. Partisans reinforcing there. 5 kills for the motherland. For the Soviet peoples. Dzanusz, there you go, taking up. He is very much committed to a panzer rush here for the 1st Panzer Division. Grenadiers here fighting it out with engineers constantly out in the open with no cover though, and no machine gun support. We can see that Dzanusz probably repositioning the machine gun finally. Too bad the timing was too late to get spot there, but the conscripts, there you go, partisans arriving, further punishing Dzanusz there for leaving his machine gun unattended. I mean, versus partisan doctrine, you do not want to leave your machine guns, any sort of vital support weapons, unattended. Like, they should not be left on their own. Telemines there though, good spot. Best option actually being to consider mining up some of the houses entrance there with S-mines that can usually catch partisans of the likes there in a pretty bad position and possibly in wipe them, in which case, you know, good for you. Take up down there, you can build up some pommel copy, got guns into the Maxim. Redxwings is not paying attention. There's a small possibility of losing it. We've got 2 G43 wielding squads opening up on the Maxim crew. But Redxwings does strike for the Kharkov, even mines it off, in this case spotted in the process. Very close there for Dzanusz. But Dzanusz will be having the final laugh in that department, as he can actually pretty soon push from. And he might consider here rushing out Ostwind, but he's actually successfully-ish pulling off a tier 3 rush. At least he's doing it better than most other players I have seen this year. So getting the Kharkov point, getting the munitions point away there as well. Partisans there as the Grenadiers, getting the fuel point as well. Good work. We've got 2 partisan squads out there for Redxwings. He's actually floating quite a bit of manpower. Might be trying, you know, save up for partisans where he needs them, rather than committing the other resources. We'll have to see how that works out there for Redxwings and the 38th Tank Corps. Sis-3 on the way there for Redxwings, a bit of anti-tank. Minesweepers out there for the Dzanusz, almost got the northern fuel, Grenadiers securing territory. 3 squads with G43 Spartans hiding out there by the fuel point. I think he's aware he sees the points being secured, but he can't see where it is, so they're probably hiding around the cover. But he's not entirely sure he wanted to hear that without some serious support. And we got Bartwire going down there. Briefly thought he might consider S-Mount. There you go, Parton spotted. Grenadiers opening up. Almost got the northern fuel, but he got a maximum interfering, preventing him from getting it. But he's not too far from the armour. He is not too far off. Conversely, Redwing's going to take some time for it to gain there. MD42 though, trying to deal with the Partizans, getting flanked here by the conscripts. Bit awkward there. More Grenadiers setting out. They should probably consider upgrading them with G43s as well. Remaining here, grab the northern fuel point, almost guarded. And there you go, MD42 in operation for the German army. Grenadiers saying Norfolk's G43 on the way. This is going to have 4 squads with G43s. Dzanusz also flooding manpower. He could, of course, consider bunkers or fuel caches. That will try and help offset things. And Redwings is taking out there himself. He can go for the Stuke. He could consider the Ostwind. I mean, he's pretty far ahead, so an Ostwind would not be a bad choice here. Or, of course, could try and play for the Panzer IV versus Redwings. Grenadiers dealing with the Partisans. Got a big flank here, but they're going to do something from the north. They haven't grabbed the fuel point there to get behind Redwings' forces. Punches out there versus the G43 with Grenadiers quickly suffering heavy damage. Petro falls first in the middle of the road. In the south, their Partisans falling back as well. Ensuring now Dzanusz has both fuel points. He can now go for the Ostwind right away, push out against Redwings. Or we could, of course, just stay a bit longer and go for the Panzer IV. And also being short versus any armor. There you go. Got wipe against Redwings. Bit of a loss there. Redwings quickly placing the conscript. Dzanusz flooding a ton of manpower. He should definitely be expending that. Again, caches would be an easy option. So that fuel cache to cover the Kharkov point maybe, or munitions cache. Just spend that manpower. He goes for the Stuke here. Yeah, he cancels it, goes for the Ostwind. That's definitely a better choice considering he's far ahead there fuel-wise. He shouldn't be too worried about it either. The big issue again, I just think, is the manpower float, which would definitely give Redwings more time to get back into the game. Other options could be mortars or another machine gun to support troops. But I definitely think caches should be the priority here for Dzanusz. A fuel cache could really do him a lot of good. 2 could do him even better, but oh well. Ostwind almost done there for Dzanusz, and the first Panzer Division. We got Redwings pushing back, grabbing back what is his, or at least rightfully, the Soviet states, obviously. And he's continuing to rack up kills there with the G43s. Mine's going down the Kharkov point, very good. And there you go, flak Panzer out for Dzanusz, and fuel cache on the Kharkov point, very good. And they need to fall back. They have 2 low on health. They are outnumbered. And even German courage cannot pull their way through that. So there you go. Flak Panzer setting out. He's destroying here the building. To deny an infiltration point for the Partisans. Push for the Kharkov point, disrupted there by the mine that Redwings played down just moments earlier. Very good work. And Flak Panzer's almost got the house there. Grounding the point here. There we go, house collapsed. Denying an infiltration point there for Redwings and his Partisans. Sehr good. Sehr good. Mines down there. Ostwind moving about.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
Issue 6 there for Redwings to counter the Ostwind. Not a bad choice, not a bad choice. Dzanusz operating his Ostwind pretty carefully. Should keep some infantry close by so they can work together in a sort of better formation. Laying down S-Mount to cover up the flank there. Not a bad spot, not a bad spot. One Ghanaian life for Redwings will probably be getting some minesweepers. He might be sort of getting the impression there are mines about. As for Dzanusz, he's still flooding more manpower than I'm comfortable with. I mean, again, more caches or something else would really benefit Dzanusz and the 1st Panzer Division a lot, instead of just, you know, floating close to 1,000 manpower. I mean, that's really undercutting what is always, you know, good Russian, that he's just floating so much manpower, which, you know, translate into, you know, better advantage otherwise. Got the some 6M out here for Redwings. Dealing with the house as well, using the flak panzer. Now he is above 1,000 manpower there. Come on, Dzanusz, spend it. Spend it. Get some caches. Get some things out. Get additional pioneers. Machine guns. Just, you know, don't float 1,000 manpower. That's a surefire way of getting your opponent back into the game rather than trying to destroy him. Now he's going for stupid support that's in the armor. No, cancels it. Really should spend that manpower. He's probably aiming there for the Panzer IV instead. We'll probably need to replace the pioneers at this rate. Yep. Continuing northward, slowly pressuring the fuel point there, but at the same time the southern fuel point and the car point is now being threatened there by Redxwings, so we'll have to counter-attack. And again, this is where the float sort of is causing some issues, because we at least have more options for dealing with this. Now his cash is going to go down fast. So this could have been executed, I think, better by Dzanusz. Again, he should not be floating that much. Good work there by Redxwings, constantly mining with the Spartans. That makes it much harder there for Dzanusz to do what he wants. And going for a mortar, he cannot have the alpha. Don't give us some infantry support weapons, so of course he needs to be mindful of partisans. Going for a Panzer IV, so now we're finally seeing a manpower expenditures here from Dzanusz. Just feels like he could have out much sooner and got something going faster here versus Redxwings, rather than allowing Redxwings to get some easy kills because he was just floating too much. Pioneers do they're going to see with the partisans. Mortar moving up. Osman dealing with infantry moving up with the partisans and the engineers. And there you go, anti-tank partisans appearing. Oh! Pretty close hit there from the Osman. Osman can't afterwards hit anything. Those got one gun of this got to support him, might be able to stop the partisan doing too much damage. And there you go, pushed away. But that is still a third partisan squad there from Redxwings. And there you go, got a Panzer out here for Dzanusz. Telemine spotted. S-mines are also dealt with. Unfortunate for Dzanusz and the 1st Panzer Division. Molotov against the Grenadiers. Machine gun in ambush mode could I think try and creep a bit further, hit closer to the front line. Grenadiers repulsed in the south on the Maxim. And Panzer IV there getting a Pintelmatt machine gun. For Dzanusz, the trade's going to be able to deal with this using his armor because there's SU-6 and a field gun out which can quickly do a lot of damage to his tanks. So he's going to have to use infantry in a clever manner. Of course, one option would be, you know, using smoke screens as well, which would allow him to pull off some reasonable assaults there. We'll see what he ends up with. Panzer IV pushed back. Redxwings like to be taking up from mechanized armor company, and there go another push for the cop on. This time there are no mines laid down there from Redxwings or his partisans. Even a rifle grenade there against the field gun crew, taking it down to less than half health. He's basically trying to remove one of the bigger threats to this Panzer IV, ignoring the calf point. Then, I mean, considering the situation, we can then sort of project with the tanks. That would be pretty good for him. Problem is, the tanks are too far away to be able to exploit this. So the problem is, even if he gets the field gun wiped, he would not have anything to take advantage of the field gun being down. So that just felt a bit of a waste. He should have just gotten the calf point completely rendered neutral, denying Redxwings that way fuel. And with that, Dzanusz is now back. He probably is thinking about a Pack 40 to help counter the H-16, so that's a reasonable good counter. He could also be planning Panzer Grenadiers, and there you go. Panzer Grenadier there for Dzanusz in the 1st Panzer Division. Some more assault infantry, instead of just relying on Grenadiers with G43s. Troops repressed, mortar hanging back, smoke screen down. Oh, also they need to fall back. It's in a pretty exposed position with no real way to get out of there if it ends up in a bad spot. So he definitely needs to get out of there. And we're going to artillery strike down. So smoke screen first, then artillery strike. Seems a bit overkill, but I guess it gets the job done somewhat. Panzer IV fixed up. Panzer Grenadier moving out to support. Now the house collapses, basically destroying most of the house at this point to just deny positions for Redxwing-sized machine guns, but also deny him any points for his, panzers to appear from. In fact, there's a few houses. There's these two, and there's these two up here. And around where sort of most of the fighting is happening, they're not going to have too much of an impact against the fighting, so they're not a high priority there for the Dzanusz. Yet, anyways, those priorities could of course change depending on what Redxwings does. Got the Austrian moving up there. There we go. Huge loss to the contact from the Austrian Panzer IV. Almost wiping out the constant squad harassment going on with the Panzer is using ambush camouflage to further hide out. Sneaky there by the Dzanusz. Sneaky. And going for Stug. It looks like this time he actually intends to finish it. Mortify landing down. The Dzanusz remaining control of the map here versus Redxwings, but Redxwings are going to be able to stabilise thanks to the Dzanusz floating a lot of fuel at the critical, or manpower with critical points, and we got there a T-34-16 life for Redxwings on the 38th Tank Corps. So there you go. Stug 3G out for Redxwing, oh not Redxwings but the Dzanusz. At least they're dealing with engineers. They're not too well, and we can see the Dzanusz just ends up retreating. Not wishing to risk it. T-34 they're running for Redxwings. Stug sitting out, no pin machine gun for that one. Should be careful not to scatter his armour too thinly without any serious support. And a fuel cache for Redxwing, setting himself up for the long haul versus a perm, but note he's not sitting at the carve point, which of course means he can't protect it. On the other hand, because he's sitting a bit further back, it's going to be harder there for the Dzanusz to raid it and destroy it, so it has its advantages for doing it like that. It has its advantages. It essentially depends on what you consider more important, the fuel or protecting your carve point. In this regard, compared to the Dzanusz, Redxwings is prioritising getting the fuel rather than just protecting the carve point. Stug takes some hits there from the field gun and the Mission 6 needs to fall back for immediate repairs. Austrian machine gun there halting in advance there from Redxwings for the centre. Stug's going to need some repairs. He can soon consider another one. And we got additional pioneers there for the Dzanusz to repair his armour. Definitely a good choice. Definitely a good choice. Redxwings seeking to outmaneuver the Dzanusz here for the south, using a mix of parts and a machine gun and even some mines there. Overall works out pretty well here, completely disrupts the Dzanusz's counter-attack without armour. In this case the Austrian does arrive. And the parts are doing quite a bit of damage there. And the second part is squad there suffering as well to the Austrian Flak Panzer. Almost getting wiped out there. Panzer going to be under fire. Panzer 4 setting out. Stug hanging back there. But it's almost good to go. And he's also very close to the second Stug. 3G. Panzer 4 patrolling about their Panzer. They're being assaulted by the engineers. Panzer 4 moving in, opening up there. Misses spectacularly. Panzers need to retreat. So does the Panzer IV. Unless we can get the Stug in there, so that way supported by the Mission 6 T-34 combo that Redxwings has unleashed upon him. Now Redxwings is going for Coh2, going to try and deal there with some of the Dzanusz's support weapons. Interesting choice. He can also now go for the Austrian. Of course, he might also just consider going for another Panzer IV. Certainly both viable options there, depending on what he wants to sort of do. And essentially you can sort of more say, like, what does he want to prioritise? Coh2 there, almost done for Redxwings and the 38th Tank Corps. We also see Stug close air support there, ready for the Dzanusz. Got the Katyusha out there. Bumping down the roads. Austrian close veterans 1 there for Dzanusz and the 1st Panzer Division. I would consider suggest Dzanusz if I could. That is, obviously I can't since the match is already over. But he basically tries it up for a flank assault through here, so strike Redxwings from that, or maybe so through here, getting some additional Panzer Force and Stooks, maybe supporting by the smoke screen, and then some of his abilities. So that will sort of push down here against Redxwings and catch him off guard. So that way, catch the weaker support vehicles there off guard. They could do a lot of damage, opening up for further victories down the road for the Dzanusz. On the other hand, head-on assault, it's going to be charging right down where Redxwings is strongest and most of the guns will be pointing. So I definitely think here that the Dzanusz should be considering flanking maneuver there versus Redxwings. Panzer Division need to retreat, and it might actually be too late here for them. It might just be too late. North troops push back, got another Telemann down there. Panzer 4 closing slowly at Unvetzen to 1. Got the Eastern 6 and bombarding, eventually 2-4 kills. Back here, Dzanusz, is he planning a tier 4? Is he planning another Panzer 4? He's just flooding resources here. Might be he's just too preoccupied what's going on the front line, or there might be some indecision there. I was calling in air support here as he strikes from the front. Pretty risky, and again, not necessarily the most efficient move. For some reason, he's not destroying the field gun crew there. From a safer position, that definitely feels like a mistake there by Dzanusz. Could easily have destroyed it, maybe even stolen it. Instead, he's sort of now just trying a bit around there. Willy-nilly. He does still get it, but could have it up much faster, I think. Now it's about destroying it. That's definitely one way of doing it. But again, had this been done with a flanking maneuver, I think he'd have done a lot more damage. Since again, he'd be then attacking from one angle as the air support came in, and then attacking from another angle as well, which I think would have caused sufficient confusion and disruption there with Redxwings to allow him to get some kills on RDF 6M or the Katyusha rocket launcher. Now going for a second Panzer, well, that could have been much out sooner, and of course could again have been very functional and useful. So that could definitely be improved upon there. Fun fact about the Katyusha rocket launcher, there was actually a series of different types of launchers with different types of rockets. For example, you had some that fired even bigger rockets, I think we sort of were kicking in at like 30 centimeters. Of course, they also fired a lot fewer rockets. You also had versions based on things like the T-60 tank, which sort of had a much fewer set of rockets just mounted on the roof. So some fun facts there. Fun facts there. Second Panzer 4 there done for Dzanusz. Oh, got the maximum. A small victory there for Dzanusz in the 1st Panzer Division. He's still reasonably elite, but the victory points is only getting closer between the two sides. Smokescreen on the maximum. I'm guessing he's intending to try and grab it here. The problem is he's not moving towards it, so it just ends up allowing maybe Redxwings a good chance of stealing it. So that's sort of a bit counterproductive there by Dzanusz. Just a bit. Almost got the anti-tank partners there. Doesn't quite make it. Now going for additional Panzer Division, having lost the previous squad. Additional T-34s also out for Redxwings. And the 38th Tank Corps. So he's really just bringing up the tanks now. The armour. The pain. Panzer rushing in here to deal with the partisans in the centre. Maximum they recruit. So that did not work out well there for Dzanusz. It might just alongside the mortar. There we go. Do the trick. Problem is he can't recruit now. It's going to do just down to 3 men. So said he has to destroy it. That feels like a waste of opportunity there by Dzanusz. Feels a bit wasted. T-34 are Grenadiers. And these Panzers forming up there with Panzer Grenadier support. Slowly pushing back the Russian counter squad as it simply cannot compete. Stu veteran, Austrian veteran to 114 kills. Still no further sign of doctoral choice or any just tech or any armour. You could go for another Stu. You could also just keep going for Panzer Force here. It feels weird to keep going on for Panzer Force when he has all these Stu bulletins. His opponent is actually going for sufficient armor to warrant more Stuks than one. I mean, never mind that Stuks in general just perform better when you got at least two of them, where there's just one. They tend to be not quite as efficient. Panzer IV moving ahead.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
Panzer there versus the T-34 is going to need some anti-tank support. The Osman is just not going to cut it. Healing reinforcement. Still nothing going on there. I mean, he could go for Panzer IV soon enough. Redwings miles still left behind. And I imagine he'll just be going for more T-34 here versus Dzanusz. He'll just be going for more. Because why not? I'm just pushing there for the Ocean 6. In the South Panzer IV, they're engaging and drilling with partisans. And further up north, their mine finished up there by Redxwings and Dzanusz. They're trying to hit the Kharkov, going for the field much quickly disrupt the other T-34. Armor support is basically bogging down there. Dzanusz just isn't, you know, really going anywhere with it. He's, I feel, playing it a bit too safely, a bit too passively here versus Redwings, which is definitely to Redwings' advantage. And he's still flooding resources. I mean, is he planning for Tier 4? Or what is he going on? I mean, that's sort of one of the slightly less clear elements here about Dzanusz. I'm not entirely sure what he's planning, of course, right now. He's almost at full pop cap, but even then, he should be able to go for at least a Panzer IV, or even the Stug if that's not possible. It just feels like Dzanusz could be using his resources more efficiently now, pushing it with the Panzer IV, unsupported, not by the Stug. Got the Katyusha, that's a definite victory there for Dzanusz, and the first Panzer Division here. But it still feels a bit too scattered there. A bit too unconcentrated. Back here, troops in reinforcing. Stug going for the cash, or what is he planning there? I mean, sending in your Stug like that, by the way, is tactically very unwise. Stug generally should always be supporting something else or working with something else. Sending in alone like that is, pathing area there, I guess, or a misclick by the Dzanusz. Oh, this Panzer IV is going to go down. That is definitely not good. And down it goes. Also feeding, of course, Redwings a lot of experience. In particular, it's now got a veteran fleet SUM-6M. Not good for Dzanusz. And he's rushing in the Osman as well. Like, this just feels like a mess there. Like, he's not entirely sure what he wants to do. And that's just causing him to make all of these really unhelpful decisions. But he's definitely benefiting Redwings, though, who's otherwise falling behind here. But if we can sort that way, just be allowed to destroy the Dzanusz's units like that in your very favourable engagements, I mean, he's still going to win, because that's not something Dzanusz can afford much of as the Wehrmacht. Obviously, no faction should be, but the Wehrmacht tends to be sort of the faction that gets punished the most. Harassment going on there. Trying to stem the bleed here. Stug now getting pursued by the T-34s again. Unsupported, can't make use of his abilities, advantages. And down that goes. So things are quickly turning up here for the Dzanusz. A series of rather poor engagements, and I think some bad calls as, you know, marred an otherwise good early game. There we go. Ace T-34 as well. Hero of the Soviet Union. So 2 Panzer IVs versus a lot of T-34s and a Ace assault gun there. That's going to be a problem there for the Dzanusz. That's going to be a problem. Keep sitting in front, getting ready for the next big push. Panzer Force, by the way, still operating very much independently, no real concentration, no real focus. Oh, there you go, working together now, going for the Ace T-34, and gets it. Still need to pull back the Panzer Force, they're taking too much damage from this. The field gun's a problem, and the lack of infantry support to help deal with the field gun, for example, is also a problem. Up north, Grenadiers finding out a heroic fight the rest of the conscripts, and they barely pull through.
Encroaching on our territory.
Spy network quickly sussing out how Dzanusz is positioning his forces, if he's actually ready to attack or what he's doing there. Very good work there by Redxwings. In this case, allows Redxwings to just push it aggressively so you can see most of Dzanusz's forces are back in base. You can see he's actually using tactical movement now to charge ahead there, try and stem Redxwings. But the problem is Redxwings now just is in too much advantage.
Can be marked and targeted.
Dzanusz has thrown away too much armour without doing any sort of real damage in return to Redxwings. And Redxwings just keeps going for more T-34s. Even as he loses some, he gains more.
The sector is at risk.
Panzer IV, they're close to Veteran C2. That'll certainly help a bit,
Spy network.
but not too much either.
Yes, comrade.
Another Stuke there for Dzanusz. Mines down the Kharkov point. Good work there by Redxwings. Good work. Fixing up the Panzer IVs.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector. T-34 ready for combat.
Anti-tank pilots hiding. Good work there. That's only going to make Dzanusz's tank's life worse. And note, he's rushing him in there with no support, no minesweepers, no nothing. Barely avoiding a mine there. I'm guessing he's trying to set up some decent flank, which isn't a bad idea as such. But again, the lack of support makes it a lot more risky. Had that hit a mine, that would have been pretty bad there for Dzanusz. And the anti-tank pilots certainly aren't making it easy. We got the Stuttgart there. Yeah, machine gun being swarmed by the T-34s. Almost wiping out his veteran free machine gun crew, and he might just be able to finish it off. Making another push towards the north there. That is pretty ballsy. Partisans wiped a small victory there for Dzanusz, a small tactical victory in a larger strategic fumble. Committing everything to head-on assault now versus Redxwings, pretty risky. Since there's still the H-6 field gun, all the T-34s, he should have flanked, should have tried to seek out the easier targets first, like the H-6, rather than attacking into and then trying to deal with the T-34s. It's going to take more work to take down. There you go. Redxwings meanwhile has no issue prioritizing the Stuke, which is the biggest threat to his armour. Does get the assault gun, the promise there's still two T-34s and a field gun, and Dzanusz has nothing to really compensate for that. Panzer IV getting focused down there. Panzer IV gaining veteran C2, shuts up there for Dzanusz, and the first Panzer Division, the T-34 there, knocks out the Panzer IV, leaving Dzanusz now with only a single tank. Meanwhile, Redxwings just keeps churning out those T-34s. Trying to get the field gun there so he can push it with his Panzer IV. There we go. Almost got it, and there you go, wiped it. Recruiting the field gun with the engineers sacrificing them. Allowing the Panzer IV to push ahead there. Blitzkrieg. Panzer Grenadiers wiped. Got one T-34 there. Might be able to get the other one. Halfway to veteran free there. And, misses. Misses. Penetrating hit in the rear of the Panzer IV. Now the penetrating. There we go. Ramming the, got the T-34 there with the Panzer IV. Infantry all the way back at base. 49 points left here for Dzanusz. Sicily setting out there. Panzer IV falling back. Full speed for Germany. Need to repair it though. Problem is, his pioneers are busy elsewhere, or I need to repair reinforcements. From these versus conscripts there. Panzer IV falling back for repairs. Gonna need them schnell. And pioneers will likely be wiped here. More Grenadiers for the Dzanusz.
Marking and targeting of vehicles is now available.
33 points left. 31.
We are losing territory.
29 going there for the Sis-3. Almost got the Panzer IV ready.
We have nearly won. The enemy
9 goes off, he tries to rush the southern one. 23 points left.
are attempting to capture our territory.
Oh dear. Almost got the Panzer IV ready. Almost. So close yet so far. And the victory points meanwhile just ticking down against them. Ticking down continually. Tick tock. Tick tock.
Enemy has 10 points remaining.
Right, Panzer Force almost good to go. I don't think an active 4 to get it fully repaired. And when he's this low, but looks like the chance at this point either doesn't care, has lost contact with the battlefield. 3 points left. 2. Machine gun wiped, and with that, that's pretty much GG. 1. And it's been crushed by the T-34, and game over. Lost there for Dzanusz. Victory for Redwings. An interesting start there from Redwings, running into a few issues, as Dzanusz, I think, executed a much smoother, much more clear strategy there with the Tier 3 rush, pulled it off decent. The problem was when he then had the armour, he wasn't able to use it very efficiently. I think it was too passive at the times, and also just kept charging into all the Redwings guns, making these for Redwings to deal with it. He never considered any larger flanks there versus Redwings, which I definitely think was one of Dzanusz's bigger mistakes. Had he just, concentrated his armour better, flanked with it, and always been prioritising it better, I think would have done a lot more damage to Redwings and his tanks, rather he ended up in a series of engagements which really cost him more than he gained and slowly just split him out there versus Dzanusz. Plus of Redwings, plus that large manpower float there was also, I feel, a bit of a mistake there. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, tell your friends, share it with everyone. If you enjoyed what I do consider donating, as I do try to do this for a living, so every donation or pledge on Patreon will go a long way towards allowing me to keep doing this. Links in the video description, by the way. So this is Imperial Linksing. Cheers. Thank you all for watching. A big thanks to all of those who have been supporting me on Patreon and via PayPal. And see you all for another video tomorrow. Cheers.